Hi, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Books and Beaches. So I have seen this trend all over Book Talk on TikTok, as well as I've heard it's been on Instagram, and I wouldn't doubt that people have done it here on YouTube as well. And that is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 book challenge. And I couldn't even tell you who the original creator was of this, but I saw it on TikTok the other day and I was like, you know what? I think that would be a fun idea for my channel. So here we are. So the concept is you count down from 5 all the way to 1, obviously, and each of them has kind of a prompt that you fulfill with each number. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the very first one is 5 books that you've loved. This is very hard because most of these books, I love a lot of these books, but I had to pick 5. Most of these probably will not be a surprise, but they were the first 5 that kind of stuck out to me. So 5 books that I loved. First one, Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier, or basically anything that Jennifer Hillier has written. This one, basically, girl and her best friend, they're best friends throughout high school, and one of the best friends ends up dead. And 14 years later, I just have to remind myself, her remains were discovered in the woods, and one of their other friends is now a detective, and the high school boyfriend of the one girl is the suspect. This book is wild, and just like every other Jennifer Hillier, it's pretty darn dark. So, first one. This one should come as no surprise because I'm sure this would be top 5 favorites of everyone, and that is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I am actually planning on doing a reread of this one soon because I have yet to read this edition with the final extra chapter in it. I believe this was the edition that came out with Barnes & Noble with the exclusive chapters. So this one is just crazy. We have a girl who becomes basically like the ghostwriter for a very famous author named Verity, and she goes to live at their house to help finish her book series, and it's crazy. So there's that one. This one will be as no surprise because I have talked about this one a lot in the past year, and that is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. Specifically, the audiobook, so good. The characters, so sweet. Basically, our main character, Linus, is he works for the Department of Magical Youth, and he has to go to this orphanage where these 5 super dangerous children live and make sure everything is going well, and just so cute. But I am sure you've heard me talk about that book nonstop in the last year, which is surprising because it's not a thriller. But next up, also not a thriller, and that is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is the fun new cover my cousin got me for Christmas. This book, how many times can I say everyone needs an Elliot in their life? I'm actually super excited because I just gave this book to one of my coworkers whose son, his name is Elliot. And I told her, I go, after you're reading this book, you're going to say everyone needs an Elliot in their life, and you already have one. It's your son, but your son could be that for somebody. So I love this book, and some of the twists I just never saw coming, and yeah, fabulous. And then, by no surprise, I have The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. This is my favorite Riley Sager book, and I actually have been meaning to reread this one as well because this one is based at a summer camp where a girl goes back to the camp where she attended when she was younger. Now she's going to be like an instructor or a counselor. And when she was there when she was younger, 3 girls went missing. They were her cabin mates, and nobody knows what happens to them. And so now they're trying to reopen the camp and see. So I need to do a reread of this one, but my favorite Riley Sager by far. All right, number 4 is 4 auto-buy authors. You're gonna see some repeats in here. Number 1, obviously, Riley Sager. I have not pre-ordered his book coming out in June yet, but I will be. I kind of always just want to make sure that they're not going to be book of the month picks because a lot of them have been, but I have to make sure. Another one, and this one is more on the YA side, and that is Karen M. McManus. Like I said, she writes YA, but I have either auto-buy or gotten approved for ARCs of all of her books. After I discovered her, that is. I discovered her later before a lot of them came out, but this one is by far my favorite. That's The Cousins. Another one that's actually a surprising auto buy, because this is more of like a historical fiction novelist, and that is Chanel Cleeton. This happens to be her new one. I haven't read this one yet. I got hooked by her very first book, which was, oh gosh, Cuba. I will put the name right here because I just can't think of it. But I've been hooked ever since, and so I always auto buy those ones. Okay, so that was 3. And then my 4th auto buy was so tough to choose. But right now I'm gonna go with Jennifer Hillier because I am working on reading all of her backlist. But I have loved each and every one of them, and so it is an auto buy from here on out for sure. All right, number 3 was 3 books you can't shut up about. All of those ones. I did pick a different one. For sure, I cannot stop talking about this book. This is 13 by Steve Kavanaugh. And I think, quite honestly, the only thing you need to know is the quote that's on the front cover, and that is, "The serial killer isn't on trial, he's on the jury." I have made several people at work read this book, as well as several of my friends, and I love this book. If we go by things that I've talked about in the last year, I clearly cannot stop talking about this audiobook. I will not shut up about it. That is for sure. So Housing This Really in C. And I was trying to think of another book. I mean, all of these I talked to death, and surprisingly, I couldn't pick out, I mean, it's probably a tie, and I know I was supposed to pick 3, but I can't because I talk about these ones all the time. All the time. Every time a summer camp gets mentioned, I'm like, have you read Riley Sager's Last Time I Lied? Yeah. Okay. So number 2 is 2 books that everyone should read. Yes, for sure. And then I don't want to say everyone should read Housing This Really in C because it might not be for everybody. I mean, but quite honestly, I have so many in here. I just get so excited to recommend any of my good books. So yes, I think I'll stick with those ones for my books that everyone should read. And then finally, one new book that you are excited about that's in your collection. All of my recently hauled books are like sitting on the floor right here. But I think one that I am most excited for, because I've been saying I want to pick up more by this author, and I know that the audiobook is also narrated by Julie Whalen, who, if I had to pick one audiobook narrator I never shut up about, that would be one. And so that book is It's One of Us by J.T. Ellison. I read a short story by J.T. Ellison earlier this year, and I really enjoyed her writing, and so I'm looking forward to picking this one up. Now, I do have the physical copy, but more than likely I'll be listening to the audiobook and kind of reading along with it because, like I said, Julie Whalen. So that is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 challenge. Like I said, I know a lot of people have done this all throughout the bookish community, whether it's on Bookstagram or Book Talk or here on YouTube. So let me know what you thought of this one. Give me some of your answers below. How would you rate your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Let me know. As always, if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.